But we won't talk about that, eh?
No, we won't talk about that. It's another one of those ones.
We can talk now, but once we
talk about hello, Grey Arrows. Grey Arrows have got they've got 2 events coming up, one in June and one in September.
I was invited.
So was I. But won't be able to go, sadly.
No, same
here. You're gonna
go? It would be BV loss for me.
It would be. It'd be fun to do, wouldn't it? It would be fun to do.
Yeah.
I will be in the UK for the one in September, but unfortunately, I will be at the event I'm going to. Maybe I'll try and get down there.
Out because you're going to be there. But, yeah.
Funny enough, where is it? I am renewing my the UK flyer ID ticket thing and all those other things ready for it. Go be legal. Got to be legal, mate. Got to be legal. Where? I just wonder where everyone's gone. Where is everybody? What's happening? So I am still angry and I'm slightly bemused. So much has happened in the last week. I suppose whilst we wait to see if anyone else does turn up, we could talk about the aviation incidents and accidents, but I don't want to speculate too much on them because they're both of them seemingly pretty sad, and system failure is what I'll say.
Need to do more work at the cheese factory.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you line up the holes. I see that they're saying, what's his name? Not Blancalerio. Yeah, Blancalerio. He was saying that the thing was at 325 feet when the collision happened. And if you're supposed to be at or below, hello there, Dan. And well done in your series. If people are missing, Dan's got a series on LinkedIn at the ABCs of the droning world, and it's going very well. But if it's 125 feet out from being
that's the right problem. Barometric readings, if they haven't set the base properly, then it's all, and that's why people say, we've got 100 foot of vertical separation between drones and manned aviation. It's not enough. No GA below 2K, Gary.
Exactly. Well, quite so. Exactly. And of course, where's that one? I meant to. I missed you all except for go. Of course, indeed, yes, indeed. No. Let's share the screen because, of course, there is this one. I thought this bloke got away flipping lightly.
He may still be facing criminal charges. Apparently, there's misdemeanor charges and criminal charges from what I read into it. So this is the misdemeanor charges, which he's pled to and got a slap on the wrist. But some of the reports I read said he could still be facing jail time on the criminal charges. So we may yet get his comeuppance.
Yeah, because he's a fairly wealthy fellow, so the money will be neither here nor there. And he said he lost sight. That's what I don't understand. And I asked our favourite drone lawyer, ex-DJI man in the States. He says he lost sight of it at 1.5 miles. Well, I would I'd very much like him to be tested.
It's a mini.
It's a mini at 1.5 miles. Yeah. 1.4 miles, easy. I mean, anyone could see him at 1.4 miles. It is. He lost sight of it at 1.5 miles. Are you mad? I don't know what that is in kilometers. I guess I do kilometers better these days. But it's far. It's very far. It's very far.
It is BV loss, especially considering that weren't there fires and smoke and crap all around?
Oh yeah, also that. And then an aeroplane got in the way and he couldn't see it. He just lost the sight of it when an aeroplane got in the way. But I saw it quickly triggered folks on UK small drone groups saying, but that's America. There's different rules over there. You're right that far out in England. You'll be fine. That's perfectly legal. That's what?
Have they not read their own rules?
Yeah. So my word.
They actually had a defined distance at one stage in the UK CA.
500 meters
or something. No,
500.
Small ones. They said it has to be able to orient.
Oh, did they?
And this is probably
50
meters. Yeah.
Oh yes, orientated. Yeah, well, yeah. That's the other thing they said. Well, you put those big lights on it, then you can see it miles away. Well, again, how do you orient it? How on earth do you orient it?
Lasers.
Lasers. I'm going to see if I can prod Ian and see who's coming, because I found something that will make him snigger. Maybe.
Have you been on my OnlyFans page again?
I have been on your OnlyFans page. Yeah. Well, Stephen's not coming because he's not very well, but I did speak to him earlier, and we are both due on this thing tomorrow, and I'll elaborate on this a little bit later. But in preparing for this thing, I found some stuff, but I'll see you. Come on,
terms here, things and stuff.
Well, yeah, I'll give it all away otherwise.
Specifics, eh?
Absolutely specifics all the way. All right, well, I might as well share through these instead anyway. Last week I forgot to say about until the very end, oh look, people are beginning to buy NDA systems, and look, Pix4D and FreeFly. That's another indication that that's the way things are going. And I think I saw again on LinkedIn, I saw someone converting their fleet to Skydios. Everyone was bemoaning that it was a downgrade, which it probably is, but they've moved their fleet, and I think it was 7 or 8 aircraft. It's coming. It's going to happen this year. 3/4 of the way through this year, we're going to have people saying, "Look, we don't use that filthy Chinese stuff," and they're going to be using it as marketing.
They won't be able to afford the Chinese stuff the way the tariffs are going, eh? Or Mexican or Canadian.
Yeah, those were long lived, weren't they? And of course, he's had a good pop at South Africa as well. Everywhere. Has he had a go at New Zealand yet?
No, but it's probably lined up to do that. I mean, America. The way to make America great again is to make everyone else crap.
Yeah, or make them rise up and. Yeah, I can't.
We'll just join BRICS. We'll just become part of BRICS, and then America can be on its own.
Yeah, well, we've got that. He's potentially going to be 100% tariffs for BRICS. So we'll see how that goes, because we'll get involved in that. But also, he's mentioned the land appropriation rules, which are no different to what it was political posturing on behalf of the ANC. Oh, here he comes. He's tardy, but I've got a bit specially for him. He's tardy, but I've got a bit for him in a minute. We'll go through these bits. Props off 2 meetings, my state's FAA here. Common sense. Professional pilots levels absolutely no. Yeah, I know, Cliff. I know that Astro one was bad. I don't think props off. I can't see DJI surviving to the end of this year. Remember, they've got full rant mode, aren't I? I'm not even drunk. The powers that be have got 1 year to prove, until December, to prove that all things are good. You'd think if they had proof that all things were good, they'd have done it by now, and they haven't. That's all I'm saying. They're not gonna sneak it in at the last minute, are they? They're not going to wait a year. So there's plainly trouble justifying that. Do you want to chip in and stop me talking?
No. Go ahead.
No. Oh, God. Okay.
I'm waiting for Ian to start the
Ian stuff. Oh, yeah, the final hour. This is interesting. Again, speaking to that topic of stuff being made for the NDAA market, here's an NDAA inspection drone made in Japan for America. It's coming. It's happening. We've done that one, and this was an interesting one. Or is it not? No one's going to bite. None of you are going to bite. What do you think the outcome of this will be? Unusual Machines having a UTM.
Tears by bedtime.
Tears by bedtime. I think it's only got to point to network remote ID, isn't it? Got to be. It's got to be pay to fly. And of course, they're very much downplaying the young Trump's involvement in this, but they wouldn't have bothered having him if they weren't going to use him as a bloody great big crowbar.
Exactly.
He must be costing an absolute fortune to have on the board. So they must be getting ready to crowbar leverage that like Billio. So that's a big worry. I have spoken to Josh Shearing from Aloft today, and and he's fairly positive. He's a good bloke. He's been on here lots of times. So
do you think he'll give a Rotor Riot t-shirt? They'll give him a Rotor Riot t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, well worth it then. Well worth it. So in Josh we trust, but we will watch this with very, very great interest. Now, anyone else want to chip in? Stop me. My mega rant. Please stop me. Mega ranting. Now, tomorrow, Stephen and I are on a thing, and it's about getting public trust back in drones and all that sort of thing. And I wanted to make the point that all this mistrust is not, it's not a new story. And so I went to the first UK police arrest from Merseyside police, and there was that. And then from there, it goes, they're in trouble over the arrest because if you remember, their what was it even called then? I can't remember. Whatever their permission to fly was at the time had lapsed. So when the Merseyside police done that arrest, they were flying illegally. So that arrest, the first arrest, was thrown out of court. And then from that, the thing got it crashed into the Mersey, so they lost their new drone. And look, we're 2011, we're talking here, and then, as if by magic, izzy, let's get busy. That police drone was a UFO. So, in terms of all things are equal and all things are the same, there's nothing new under the sun, even in our world with police drones and bad news. So, I just thought that would amuse you, Ian. Oh, yep. Bloody hell. Is he talking? He's muted.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember this all at the time. I'm sorry, I'm confused why we're bringing this up again. I'm confused.
Oh, just because the people I'm talking with tomorrow at this webinar thing are making out that it's a new thing. You know, that we're all this fear and doubt, and it's all new, and it's because drones are now. It's like, no, it's not. Look, it's 2011. It all happened before.
Do you have a more authoritative source like the Daily Mail, or do we use this one?
There's no Runcorn and Widnes Express as weekly news. There's got to be. But back in 2011, I don't even anyone was saying anything. But I just thought it is amusing that all ended up with a UFO sighting. And funnily enough, that does. I don't know. What can we say about the things you've posted it all on Twitter, haven't you? Ian? All the stuff about that UFO chase in Lakenheath that was 10 miles away. There was nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can always put the tweet on in the background with the video. We don't have to listen to audio, and I can just tell you what's going on.
All right. Can you just chuck it in the chat for me, and I will. No, just really, to me, it just, there's a thing that says media assets now. We don't have any media. Yeah, this fun thing we're doing tomorrow. So funny.
Tell them while you can.
Exactly, because this is this woman in charge of backstage, and I'll be doing this and I'll be doing that, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's exactly how we run this every Tuesday night at 2100 GMT. Oh, the whole thing.
Hundreds here, just over there.
Oh yeah. all the technicians and everything. There's a whole room. There's a green room. There's everything. Oh, I laughed when that was all going on. I really did. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Right, all right. Let's have this video. Hang on, it's a loading. Present. Yeah, I thought this was pretty jolly interesting, really.
Yeah, you can skip this in about a minute or so and then pause it just when we can see where the flight around was, and then we can talk about that.
Can I get this bigger?
Oh,
is that better?
Yeah, just move it a bit further in and then pause it.
Just say when.
Yeah, just keep going until we see more of it lit up. A bit more, a bit further on. Yeah, pause it around there. That's quite good.
Okay.
So this is the flight of the National Police Air Service helicopter, and this was at the start of all this. Lakenheath, Mildenhall, United States Air Force. There's a drone bothering us, a malarkey. So at the very top there, we see at the top of the screen, that's where the helicopter had gone up originally. So that's up near Lakenheath. So originally just flown up there, and then it's immediately been dispatched straight down south to Newmarket. Now, Newmarket isn't over the base. It's not immediately next to the base. It's 10 miles away. Now, this makes no sense at all because the good thing was, because I'd done some Freedom of Information Acts, and one of the UAP type guys had done one. And now the UAP type guy actually got the incident log. So the incident log specifically reads that the helicopter was being dispatched to have a look to see if it could find a pilot. Now, there's a few concerns here. Now, on this night, it was completely clear. So if you wouldn't necessarily every night see what was going on down Newmarket, but this night you could do. And it just happened before this drone, space aliens, or whatever it was that people want to think it is, was seen across left to right and whatever. Over Newmarket, there was loads of civilian air traffic, airliners and whatever at 10,000 feet. So there was lots of lights in the sky this particular evening, exactly where the helicopter has been dispatched down to. So it's been sent down there looking for a drone. Now, this already doesn't make sense, because if it's 10 miles away, well, every one of us knows you can't, at night, you can barely see a drone's LEDs at 120 meters, never mind 10 miles away. So it just shows whoever is making decisions here knows nothing about drones, because you'd know the lights wouldn't be seen that far, so you don't need to be traveling that far. It's also further than your transmission range. And if you're going to and from, it's further than your battery could go. So if you were thinking in any way logical of, oh, there's a drone near the base, you wouldn't be going anywhere near that distance if you were looking for the pilot. So it just suggests that there's been a wild goose chase going on here. But what makes this interesting is that, additionally to that, to throw confusion into the mix, it turns out, and everyone's being, let's say, difficult, apprehensive, scared, and they are being very difficult with freedom of information. Or actually, the National Police Air Service initially said, we're considering national security exemption and the policing exemption. And I went straight back and said, well, there's a public interest here, because at the end of the day, we're talking about some air vehicle, drone, whatever, in the skies. And, here we've got a residential area. This is going on. So it's over UK skies. It's, it's a police asset. And with what's going on in the US, if you actually don't put information out, that's when conspiracy theories had already started, and saying that the AMPERs had actually been chased away by a drone, which is not true. But that's actually been put out by a journalist. So that's gone in the surprise Daily Mail. It was their report, so I assume I'm pretty sure it did go all the way into the paper, because everything that was generally being mooted did do. So my argument was, if you don't put some information out here, you're just going to feed the stupidity that's going on. And as we saw in the US, that ended up with normal air traffic being lasered. So you don't want to be going down that route of having people getting hysterical, because we saw it. All the locals were doing stuff, and it was all being picked up by the UFO crowd. Saying it's UFO, and we could all tell it was, lights on an MPAS, and you could hear the noises of normal air traffic. So you knew that it's plane, helicopter, whatever else that was being filmed. But to add additional onto this confusion, so the National Police Air Service said, yes, we were called out to a drone. We did do the flight. It was an 18-minute operation. But, and this was slightly my mistake, I just asked, was an air prox logged? And they said yes. But I didn't word it as was a drone air prox logged, but then again, it's probably kind of good that I didn't do with hindsight now. So we know there was an air prox logged, because then the question comes about, well, has it been when it flew across this? It's a civilian air traffic there. Well, the heights were nowhere near, so it can't be that. And besides which, there's a very, very good rumor mill in the drone industry, and the rumor mill says that it has been logged as an unknown object. Essentially, that'd be a UAP. So all the UFO guys, I'm going, whoa, party time.
Yes.
So
as they do.
Yes. So they'll lap this up. But I'll be very concerned if that National Police Air Service helicopter hasn't got video of this, because that means, well, it hasn't. I think if that is the case, what we've actually got is, just in the hysteria going on again of, look, there's lights in the sky, send off the helicopter. Helicopter's being told there's definitely something there. And then, it's just getting logged because, we better do because there's something there. Because it doesn't really come across as very viable when you're flying an aircraft that's got military-grade optics. It's, as we said before, it's quarter of a million up to $1 million.
Can't trust military-grade optics.
Yeah, the optics that they've got. So if they're seeing something with their eyes, they ought to be being recorded it, and then there's evidence. Yeah. No, fair enough. There has been a National Police Air Service a few years ago that caught something, and it could only capture it on the thermal, and no one really knows what it was. And if it's something along those lines, fair enough. I guess this is where things get don't quite add up. It's because I thought, well, great, well, at least it's not a drone that's been logged. But then it's like, well, how come we've got the airspace restrictions over all the
exactly. And the same in America. They got their airspace restrictions as well on the back of these enemy actors, and really it's airspace restrictions for power utilities that wanted it, and it's in the UK. It is over American bases. They did want it, and they got it. And this was the lever pulled to make it happen. So yeah, I was just looking. I think the ones in the States have been pulled. I'm looking for them. I don't see them all. So I think they might have been. Well, yeah, I think they've been pulled.
But did the aliens even read the TFRs?
Well, true.
In the US, it made a little bit more sense because people were getting hysterical about drones. But the fact is, over here, that the only hysteria was being driven by the authorities themselves by telling locals to actually start reporting stuff. If they hadn't done that, this thing would have blown over.
Yeah.
So this is just the freedom of information, just so people can see that was linked to this. So it was actually the CAA that confirmed that it wasn't, because I'd asked the CAA, it was an AirProx logged, and they said, I'd asked for drone AirProx, and they said no. And I said, how could there be an AirProx logged? And you told me no. And they said, it's because it's a different type. So that's how I know it wasn't a drone AirProx. Although this is all daft, because normally things are more elaborated on. So it'd be like, no, it's not, it's this. And so even the CAA didn't say, by the way, it's an AirProx for an unknown object, where to me, there shouldn't be any issue with that. But apparently, people are just sitting on this at the moment, the authorities, for whatever reason. And the AirProx board meets in just over a week.
That's one of we happen to be at that point again, don't we? But that is one of the problems with this. They don't meet frequently enough, really.
Yeah, but that aside, we should be able to freedom of information, because with freedom of information, you can do, and this is what the CA have tried doing before, and I'll be honest, it's a little bit naughty, because you can say, well, it's going to be future publication, but it is a qualified exemption, which means if there's a genuine public interest, you've got a fair case to ask for it and for them to release it. And I think in this case, it's fair to release it.
Well, this made me laugh when you said it's a balloon, kite, model aircraft, unknown object, unknown aircraft. It made me chuckle a little bit to myself when you said that.
Illegal immigrant.
Right, well, yes,
aliens.
They are aliens, exactly.
The USA.
Oh,
that since
you don't want that.
Mexico, since Mexico mobilized 10,000 National Guard to the border, there's been no more aliens spotted over New Jersey.
Well, there you are. There we are.
There.
It's all good.
Now,
it's all good.
Keir Starmer would just do the same on the English Channel. All these problems would go away, apparently.
Go away. I'm just astounded that people have accepted the new press officer standing up and saying, no, they were all ours. Oh, fair enough then. Oh, very good. We'll crack on then.
It put the ball squarely in the court. They were all drones, but they were illegal drones. What about the airplanes? 90, goodness knows how many percent of them were passenger jets.
No, they weren't.
No, they haven't changed it. Basically, you've got someone that was just paraphrasing what had been said before, and people are reading too much into it. So
yeah, but it's a
the very fact they didn't mention aircraft isn't a denial of that fact. You know, it's just someone paraphrasing what the same stance was under Biden. So really, nothing's changed. And in fact, the FBI is still investigating the couple that were the most credible out of them anyway. I still don't think will come of it, because we all know, as we're saying, it was all
Chinese submariners long sailed.
Well, it's getting expensive for it to stay in those waters. If they want to fill it up, it's going to cost them more, isn't it?
10% more. Yep,
10% more. And in the comments, I think it was Johnny that said about the Gaza thing. Of course, that's just up the road from me here at Gaza in Mozambique. So that was quite a big story here, obviously, because everyone chuckled at it, and it wasn't lots and lots of condom. This amazing. I think there's a third one somewhere as well, isn't there? But I don't know where that is.
Next thing you're telling me is London and Canada.
No, never.
I like the comment by Dan Moss. It can't be a UFO unless it's potato video quality, which is the thing that Noe does. Because that's all it's about. It's getting rubbish quality video and then saying it is whatever you want to pump out your narrative that it is. It's nonsense.
Yeah. Speaking of rubbish video,
do either of you boys own one of those Osmo Pocket?
I've got a pocket camera, Osmo Pocket, but not a competitor. No.
Okay. Yeah. That's very much the other Ian's wheelhouse, isn't it? All that sort of a thing. And what do you think of this? Because I see he's getting ready to review Trappy's new aircraft. I know some people have asked me about it. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. But
just like another wing, isn't it?
I wasn't particularly impressed with the Caparina. It flew, but it didn't fly as well as most other craft. I don't know. It's probably difficult for TBS at the moment because they haven't brought out anything new for quite some time, really. And being based in Hong Kong, that must also add 10% tariff. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's all sorts of shipping dodges kicking up and around and about, ship them via this country and that country. But I'm sure those loopholes will soon be quashed.
In the wake of my recent video, I've been thinking, what do we do to revive the hobby? Because multi-rotors, FPV multi-rotors came along. Well, first of all, when Hobby King came along, the hobby ascended into great heights because everything was affordable suddenly. And then when it started quietening down, we got the multi-rotor crazy. Everyone got into mini quads and things. That's been squashed by regulation. So where do we go to now? I've had a few thoughts, and I think we're going to see, well, what I think would be quite useful is a blend between computer gaming and actually flying models. Everyone's got Microsoft Flight Simulator. What about some like Star Wars type fixed wing or multi-rotor craft? And the key thing is going to be having an onboard system that has a laser beam and a sensor on your craft so that you can shoot at other craft while you're flying at them. They already exist, but they haven't been really commercialized as a shrink wrap product. So you can go out there and fly your fixed wing or drone and shoot down other people's fixed wings or drone in real life. Not shoot them down, but you get to score points and things. It's aerial combat without contact. I wonder if that would be something you could drag kids out of their mother's basements by the scruff of the neck and make them experience the real world for a change.
Yeah, maybe. For me, I've been thinking indoor flying, but just also from the point of view that I've got a sports hall that I can use, and it just helps with the weather, doesn't it? Which is another factor.
The other thing is that I've got that little Neo, and I remain impressed with it. And it is so small and light and safe that I don't think it needs to be regulated, to be honest. There has to be a cutoff point where we say, just like Canadians do, don't hurt people, don't break their stuff, and that's it. No altitude restrictions, nothing else. Because maybe you could say no higher than 100 feet, 100 foot and below with a sub 200 gram craft, go for it, because
I wish
we
they
know
would
no
do
one's going to
that.
get hurt.
Is do lesser restrictions with just a height. Something where you could just take a small drone and just do yourself a roof inspection and a bit higher than that or something, and then you're not really heading up into airspace.
Yeah.
But the
If I
problem
look
with
back,
that
most of my flying recently has been below 100 feet. I'm flying under trees. I'm flying low altitude FPV. Why do you even consider that to be airspace? I'm more likely to give someone bloody bruise on the shin than I am bring down an airplane.
Well, this is what frustrates me is when you at something that's height where you would have scaffolding and builders.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you're saying a drone's a problem. It's like if a drone's a problem at that height, the people stood there on with it are as much a problem. And to me, that's where things are silly with regulation. Once you're going up, up above that, it's a different matter. But I've always been frustrated with that. I've just because there's people that just use a camera, the drone as a camera to be like a dolly, to just be recording stuff, more or less at ground level, but having that freedom to fly a little bit out and a bit like a crane, but without genuine height.
We don't have restrictions on action cameras on poles, on selfie sticks.
No, exactly.
Don't recognize those use cases, and to me that would free up, a bit of industry and work and opportunities there just from little tweaks like that.
Yeah, it's
damn. I'm saying,
yeah.
Flyaways are few and far between, and the main reason we get any flyaways at all is because we push things down to sub 250, where we're taking the redundancy off, like dual or triple IMUs and stuff to get to the weight. So
yeah. Did you see CAA New Zealand published that? I tweeted it. They're structurally changing the organisation with their focus on risk-based regulation. And I just tweeted back saying, how dare you say that when you treat a 20-gram toy drone the same as a 14.9-gram commercial octocopter? It's not risk-based at all. Don't lie. And if you're going to bullshit that heavily, don't expect you to be taken credibly. And then they've got another thing out saying people are flying drones near airports. Well, yes, because your regulations are so stupid. People are saying this is ridiculous. We just do what we want to do. Produce regulations that people can have respect for, and you're more likely to get compliance. When you try and pull the wool over people's eyes and say this little toy is just as dangerous as this great big commercial multi-rotor, people are going to treat your regulations with contempt. And this is a perfect example. The two latest posts from CAA are an example of what I've been saying.
Well, we're moving rapidly to a point where network remote ID is going to be. Oh, am I super
That's
dodgy?
What they want. That's what they want, but it's not going. If they push it too hard, again, people just fly under the radar. I've done a bit of a survey informally. People I know in the US that fly freestyle. I could not find one person who's got remote ID fitted to their 5-inch quadcopter. Nobody. Everyone said, "Damn it, we're not going to do it. It's a ridiculous imposition. They don't even use it when they should, so we're not going to waste our money on it." And that's what happens when you pass rules and laws that are ridiculous and serve no actual real purpose. People just say, unless they've got lots of feet on the ground. And then even then, when someone does something wrong, like this guy in the Palisades, gets a slap on the wrist.
I mean, when DJI costed it up, and it was over 100 million per year. So you're looking at over $1 billion over 10 years. It's just a remote ID doing network and being able to maintain it and stuff.
Yeah, but there's a profit margin on that. Remember,
And I'll put this up there again. For instance, if you happen to have, I don't know, somebody like, who could you employ? I don't know, the president's son, and you happen to own a UTM, then it would strike me that network ID would be a ripper idea. A ripper idea. I worry about this. We'll see. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
America is like, we've got Elon Musk is now the 2IC in the US government, and Elon Musk gets most of his revenues from the US government. I mean, it's like leaving the box in charge of the hen house, isn't it?
and sends in 6 blokes. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this story is true. They're sending in the 6 blokes to get the keys to all the finances, basically. I mean, that's quite extraordinary. If he's managed that, then that is a coup. It really is, and it's a coup without a shot fired. It's got right to where the money is, and that's all that matters. It's the same as going into Fort Knox, isn't it?
Yeah,
and getting out the gold.
To be fair, there'll be a lot of rumor and hype and nonsense around this anyway.
Yes,
a lot of people
there will
about the fact that he's in there cutting back. I mean, some of it does sound like genuine, legitimate waste, and we seem to have that in the UK as well. You know, it's getting the balance right and doing things sensible. You don't want to cut away at everything because there's a lot of services there that they're going to be important to people and necessary. But at the same time, you have got stuff that is absolute pure fluff that doesn't need the spending at all within the public sector. So
I think
Johnny's nailed it.
Yeah, just what I was going to say. Johnny's made a good point there, and I think the it's interesting that the NTSB, in their reference to the terrible incident with the helicopter and aircraft, said they've got over 1,000 talking points they'd like to have a chat with the FAA about, and the FAA has done nothing about it. So the NTSB has called out the FAA somewhat. Good evening to you, Philip. There. So it's. That's very interesting.
But the FAA's had plenty of time to put tweets up saying, make sure your drone's registered, make sure you get remote ID, make sure you know the rules. Meanwhile, manned aviation, people are dying left, right, and centre, and the NTSB is going, what are you going to do about these points we've raised? And the FAA is going, oh, we're telling people to be careful with their drones.
It's as you say, it's lining up the holes in the Swiss cheese. There's meatware in all these systems. So sad, very, very sadly, these things are going to happen. But just, to have an aircraft on approach at 300 feet and a helicopter going under at 200 feet as ops normal, I mean, that is, they have stopped that now. But that is
never allowed that in the first place. Given the limitations of technology. Yeah.
Precisely. I've flown the heli routes in London and they are hectic. They watch you like a hawk going down those heli routes, and they if you've got to go left and right of the river, so left going, I think it's left going eastbound, right going westbound. So not only it's left and right of the river, it's also altitudes as well, and they watch you like a hawk, and woe betide you if you stray off either way, and the workload is pretty phenomenal. So you don't go underneath an approach. You're just going up and down the Thames. So this is going underneath an approach as well. It's like
it's silly to try and mix. And they talk about integrating things want to integrate drones into the airspace. Well, I think this proves separation is a much better idea than integration. When it comes to altitude control. If you integrate helicopters into airliners, bad things happen. But
fully integrated, yes.
I've been very harsh on regulators over the years, but not without reason. I hope people can see now that regulators are doing a really crap job, whether it's the CAA in the UK, CAA in New Zealand, or the FAA in America. They're doing a really crap job because they've taken their eye off the ball and they're focusing on things that are not important. It's like they're mopping up the drink rings on the bar of the Titanic while there's an iceberg coming through the wall. It's not good enough. We deserve better. And my criticisms, I think, are roundly deserved.
Philip was saying the taking away regulations, yes, but Phil can add a new one. Yeah, that is a problem. They've halted loads of stuff. Philip writes about UTM, for those that don't know. If you have a look on LinkedIn, look for Philip on, not UTM, AAM, and all that sort of thing. So have a look on LinkedIn from there. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Why do you need a rule to allow something? Can't you just take away the rule that prohibits it?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a more sensible way to deal with it? Then you don't have to find 10 other rules to get rid of because you created a new rule. Just take away the rule that says you may not fly beyond visual line of sight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how this plays out. And I've forgotten the name of the country, but somewhere was touting that they'll be flying. Oh, so India was touting. Urban air mobility in 2026, big trials. It's like, well, with what airframe that's been signed off and certified for pass? EHang.
Have you seen the way Indians ride their trains? EHang would be a safe option.
We do that here as well, but it's extraordinary, isn't it? We didn't talk about it last week, but of course Airbus. I know Fun Revolt. We spoke about it very briefly. It was Airbus pulling out, and I think, well, unless Donny's son gets onto the board of one of the competitors, I think it has all slowed down in America this year now. I really do. I really do. But I worry about that UTM. I worry about pay to fly, pay to play, and here it comes. But we shall see. God, I'm ranting. Come on, you boys, pick it up. I'm ranting. I'm waffling.
What about AI?
I'm not drunk.
AI will fix everything. I asked Gemini this morning about AAM and eVTOLs, and they said, "Oh, companies like Lilium are leading the way." And I said, "Lilium's gone bust." And they said, "Oh, you are correct. Everything on Gemini is wrong, and when you correct it, it says, I apologize, I was incorrect."
Well, that's nice.
We're going to hook this AI up to fighter jets without people in it and missiles and things. It's 90% of the time it's wrong, but we're putting so much faith in AI. We're going to have our power grids and everything else running on AI. I shudder for the future.
I don't understand that comment, Props Off. That's why I've put it up. Maybe someone better than me can do that. Straight away, somebody was banging on about LinkedIn, how AI could have helped with the helicopter thing. It's the last thing you want. It's the last thing you want. Is that how if you're not getting the airframe certified for 10 years, how on earth are you going to get a safety system based on made up stuff?
There are air traffic systems already putting in AI, because that's really where they want to go in the end. They'll want to get rid of.
But some of the things that I got Gemini to say. Gemini said, "I'm a powerful tool for generating text and accessing information, but I'm not a reliable source of the truth." And where it says also, Asimov laws of robotics are not directly included in my training or underlying algorithms.
Wow. Does it really say that?
Yeah, it did say that. I've been spending a bit of time with Gemini because I'm trying to work out how much of this is hype and how much reality. And AI has this thin veneer of credibility. When you dig deeper, it's just a wreck. It's a train wreck.
I did enjoy
that whole.
So I was going to say I did enjoy DeepSeek because I asked it because I thought, well, it's Chinese after all, and it's got a little bit of bias. So I said to it, what was that? I was going to say, could you explain why EHang in their videos had RG Pilot bespoke specific telemetry messages that could only come from a flight computer, and then it spewed out its thing saying, "Oh, maybe they used some RG Pilot code." And I thought, well, it's not me saying it; it is DeepSeek. There you go. So I thought it was kind of funny because it's actually very positive about any of the Chinese companies. If you ask it about DJI, it absolutely outright denies that the first geofence was over Tiananmen Square and says it was over Washington. Even when you point out that 2013 it was created there, it actually argues against you. So it's yes, it's funny.
It said nothing happened in 1989, an uneventful year.
Well, but that's the bottom line for all of this is I can see AI replacing me in the tower when I was making cups of coffee and toasted sandwiches. I can see maybe that part of it can be replaced, but I can't see how you could put it too deep into a tower, into a proper tower situation that often. Oh, well, just pull up a Sandberg. Here's an example. A little aircraft emergency, whatever. Fire engine goes to go off the runway, and they've left the side doors open on the fire engine where all the nozzles are on the racks. And as he swings off the runway, all the nozzles fly off all down the runway. So what's AI going to do with that? What problem solving are they going to be going with all that sort of thing? I think
where AI would come in usefully is it could take up some of the burden. So you still have your human operators there, but they sort of they get focused on more specific, urgent stuff that the AI thinks is a potential problem and wants that decision making. So
a lot of that's already in the radars. It's already in the radars. It's already there, but it's not called AI. And it's just, are they going to bang together? Are they banging together software? And it's not put in as AI. Interesting that Philip, I'll put it up again, saying that EASA is trialing some great GA conspiracy stuff for lower airspace, but have not included drones. It's a huge mistake. Maybe you can write in the comments which particular one that is. Of course, we'll share your community props off. Put the link in, and of course we'll share it, and we'll even have you on, and you can tell us all about it. That will be absolutely fine. I'll put my email address in here. It's just Gary, GOI, at susnews.com. Will it allow it? Shall we see? Email me and I'll ignore you, as I normally do.
That's
right,
interesting.
Well, that's interesting.
I put a tweet out today saying Elon Musk has Starnet or Starlink, Optimus, a Grok, and a funny salute. Plus, he's best friends with a man with more nukes than anyone else in the world. Should we be worried? And it's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I can't see it anyway. I've looked on my profile.
I thought. Well, let's have a look on the Twitter. I thought they weren't doing that. I thought there wasn't going to be censorship.
I couldn't see it when I looked.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. It's Jet. Full of trouble. Oh, I see you posting about AI. Yes.
Oh, that tweet seems to have vanished.
Yeah. No. Well, how far down the day did you post that?
It was one of my latest tweets. Just one of the last 2 or 3 tweets I've done. So
it's not seen.
No,
I've not seen it then.
Mr. Musk found it.
He read it. Yeah.
It does play up occasionally because they do appear to deploy straight into production, let problems happen, and then roll it back. And that, because I've had stuff that's kind of disappeared.
Like
you come back an hour later or whatever, and it's working. So
yeah.
Who knows?
It's just that one though.
No, it's been a very funny week all around, really. It really is a very, very funny week, and I don't understand quite what next week will bring. It's it's not even flying season, if you know what I mean, in the rest of the world.
We finally got some more weather here. It's 26 yesterday.
It's been horrible here. It's been so hot. It really has. It was so hot today, and that's why we've been having huge storms that knock out our power. But yeah, it was horrible. It's just way too hot.
You rarely have any power to knock out in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. How would you know?
Well, we funny enough, we had our load shedding back again this weekend. Welcome back, old friend. So yeah, we had some issues with power stations, and funny enough, a conspiracy theory here. Don your tinfoil hats. I was showing the children coronal mass ejections from the sun on TV, on NASA TV, and I said, "Oh, look at that! That's huge. That will cause problems around the world. That will." And they said, "No, it won't." I said, "It will." And then our power stations fell over. So far be it from me to to have started it off. But also, I mean, that's one conspiracy theory. But here's another theory I had for you. This is probably a little bit more grounded in fact. They were looking for a 314% increase in the price of electricity, and it was denied, and it went through as a 36% increase of the price of electricity. And the day after, load shedding came back. So, draw parallels, whoever you will. But that's what happened. 58 with rain, a minus 44 C. Oh my hat. Minus 44 C. What is that in that funny ethosphere? That must be really, really big number. Let's have a look. Minus 44.
It's about minus 44. No, it's about minus 46, I think, in Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's -47. Is it not that
There you
different?
go. It was off the top of my head.
That's very
Because
good.
-40 is the same in Celsius and Fahrenheit, so it couldn't be far away.
What?
-40 Celsius is the same as -40 Fahrenheit.
What? But it's not the same when you go above plus temperatures.
No, that's the point where they converge at that point there. Then they deviate either side of it.
Goodness me. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what you can fly in a -44, wouldn't it? It'd be very interesting to see what batteries did and all stuff. Stuff would be awful.
Well, methanol would probably freeze if you're flying a globe motor.
Well, we have the other problem. Density altitudes get above 10,000 feet very, very easily, and you actually physically can't stand out there. We're coming up to our best flying month is May. It doesn't rain. It's lovely, light winds, and it's only in the 20s, so it's nice. But midsummer, you can't really stand outside. So
you stand inside the envelope of the balloon to keep warm, keep cool. I mean,
yeah. Keep cool, absolutely. Yeah. Well, hot air balloons don't fly over +35. Well, they don't fly cost effectively over +35. You just can't carry passengers. So it's not worth doing it. So yeah, that's the cut off of that. They fly, but you're not making any money at that sort of thing. Gosh, I'm full rant, full diverging, and I'm not drunk.
It's the variety show tonight.
It is. It is.
Oh, did you see that George and Mildred died?
I did.
Yes.
I did. That was
90-something. Had a fair run.
And weirdly, that came up on flipping LinkedIn for me. I thought that's a bit strange. It's really turning into Facebook. Have to use a pulse jet. Yeah, we don't know anyone that knows anything about pulse jets. So.
Oh, and while we're on the subject, Bianca Censori got chucked out of the Grammys. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, because you can't keep me away from the Grammys. Yeah. Oh yeah. Last Summer Wine, all the ones getting the awards. Can't keep me away from it. Yeah. No, I don't. I barely know what the Grammys is, and I have no idea who you're talking about. Absolutely no idea at all.
You'd know if you'd seen her.
Oh, okay.
By the way, given you're going off topic, I'll talk about something that's slightly off topic, but on topic, because it connects with something I was saying earlier. Microsoft have recently upped their prices for their 365, which makes me very upset. It makes a lot of people very upset.
Yeah, but they dropped the VPN.
But you've got our new AI, and it's like, well, most of us probably didn't want it. I know I wasn't too bothered, but it is actually quite clever, because I was doing a reply to the DFT for the Freedom of Information, where they're just utterly waffling me that they're finding it too difficult to find Gatwick documents on SharePoint, when the whole purpose of SharePoint is to make documents easy to retrieve. And so I was about to obviously just write this out myself normally, when just open it up and little Copilot thing there. And he goes, well, what do you want to write? So I thought, well, I'll give this a go. And I thought, I want to write a reply to the DFT who are saying that SharePoint is too difficult to search. And he went, boom, and gave me a page and a half. And the first half a page was explaining how effective SharePoint is at doing searches. And giving all the bump about that. So, although he doesn't know about, obviously, he couldn't use it in its entirety because he doesn't know about the Freedom of Information Act and that. But it was a nice starter for that. So a human still does better because you can, you understand the whole context of it and how it should be shared. Yeah. But it was just nice. The most bizarre thing, though, is obviously I've got it set to UK English, and it comes back in American. I'm like, so I had to go straight to the prompt. I would put, would you change the spelling to UK?
Yes, yes.
It did it. So
yeah,
it is actually clever. And when you've got a document as well, you don't have to cut and paste stuff in. You can say, so I wanted to include some of the freedom of information stuff. So I just said, can you add this, something along these lines in? And it just put it in there as a bullet point. So you didn't even have to do any cutting and pasting. So with AI, it is going to make lots of general jobs here and there simpler for already.
Well, I really like Notebook LM. I use it all the time, and maybe we should do that with your documents.
Am I out of touch? I'm using Clippy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's for the older gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if I can't get those flipping links out of this. The other thing I was looking at today, this again slightly off topic. Do you remember this air robots thing when a German-made drone back in the day, back in 2009, was to keep an eye not on the BMP people, but on the anti-BMP people? Do you remember that one, Ian? So that one went, and then
No,
where the point? Go on.
I was just saying, I'm aware that generally police, when there are demos and that, drones are one of the tools they were using, and that has been the case for a long time.
So there was that one, and it's just because you're saying freedom of information. So back when they were called subject access requests. So what they did then, so it had a normal camera on it. So the protesters said, "Hey, hang on a minute. You were used to be allowed to have a copy of anything that might have an image of you on it." So they asked for a copy of the images, and it nearly bankrupted that police force because they had to print out, back in the day, they had to print all the images that the thing took, and they took thousands of them.
I was going to say that subject access request is separate to information. That's the other thing you do where it's about you. So you could still do that these days.
But that made me think of you when I remember that going through that. But yeah, the Derbyshire Police, it cost them an absolute fortune, and that was back in 2009. So all these things.
Fortune was worth much more back then too.
It was worth a lot more, yes. But imagine printing them all and posting off all the images because you might have been in one of the images. Let's see if I can get generate ERC Europo. The trouble is I can't copy these out. I'll have to do it by hand. Great. Talk amongst yourselves while I try and do that.
Do you remember back 2008 or something? There was a German multi-rotor had a bottle hanging from it on YouTube, and everyone was marveling. It might have multi-wheel in it, but everyone was marveling how it could counteract the swing of the bottle and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very clever, eh?
Oh, yeah. I do believe if you look closely enough, I did that quite a bit before that to see if we could have underslung loads. And a long time ago, I did that in my garden.
Best fun was emptying the bottle, one glass at a time.
Yeah, exactly. With a copter control board I used. And no one had an underslung loads before that time. Right. 21. Conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, it's all got to, okay, let's share this one inside. It has to be. Oh, props off is off. Oh, cheers, props off. Take care. Enjoy the breeze. All right. Data protection. Let's just accept all cookies. We don't care. Sunny Swift issue 41. Oh, that's a bad start, isn't it? ADSBL.
ADSL. No B.
ADSL. Yes, ADSL. What's ADSL then?
It's an acronym. I'm dodging the hard questions. I don't know what ADSL is.
Here it is.
Oh, here we go.
Here we are.
Megahertz.
So smacking an ISM band. Yeah, license free.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. If only somebody had some 800 megs devices just lying around on the desk.
If only we had something called Flam that did the same thing.
That's on 863, isn't it?
Oh, it's off
the top of my head. Yeah, something like that.
I
can't see a T-beam. We've got a T-beam here somewhere as well, but oh dear. There it is. The ADSL 4 mobile 20. There it is. There it is. Network RID is similar. All right. ADSL Coalition. I must admit I hadn't heard of this, so thanks, Philip. I will.
Coalition. That means more people are making money than just one.
Conspiracy is a good thing. Yeah, getting okay. Okay, so that's the weather.
It's interesting though, isn't it? In that event over the river in DC, we had TCAS, ADSB, and ATC radar. None of that conspicuity solved the problem.
Well, very, very sadly, I did say to Philip on the day, I said, the air traffic transcript would have said something behind the landing, to fly behind the landing, something it would have mentioned the landing. Yeah,
the big mistake was I think they must have seen the wrong aircraft, and at that distance, I think Juan said it was 6 miles or something when they took over visual. I think they couldn't see it at 6 miles.
And they had NVG goggles on it, so it's just like looking down the.
Can you see your altimeter with an NVG on inside the cockpit?
You might be able to on those. I don't know.
That's the honest answer. Focal length would be probably too far, wouldn't it? Be infinity rather than up close. And
so somebody's got to be. Yeah, somebody's got to be off the goggles, and normally they don't fly on the goggles when they're in.
Well, one said all three. If one's got NVG, they'll all have NVG on. When he was talking about it.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe that's the SOP there, but again, they have night VFR rules that the rest of the world doesn't have. So you couldn't do that in England. There's no such thing as those sort of flight rules. So it's a tragedy. It was a terrible thing, and it might just been a couple of clicks on the dear old barometric altimeter were wrong, and that's two wrong clicks. That's 50 feet, 25 foot a click, isn't it? So it doesn't take much.
The aircraft, the jetliner would have ground radar, wouldn't it? Like a bit altitude radar altitude.
Yeah. It would have had a radar.
So it'd be pretty accurate.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be flying under the radar. They'd have been flying. They would have been very accurate. They would have been spot on where they were supposed to be in the sky, because they'd have been flying the ILS. I guess. I'm guessing. Actually, I said that. I could be speaking out of turn, but I should imagine they were flying the ILS, so they'd be bang on. I didn't mean to say that. Never mind.
Yeah, so
I shouldn't have said that.
If that's the case, then there wasn't 200 feet of separation. There'd be a maximum of 125 feet of separation.
Yes.
If they were where they're supposed to be, and they were 325.
Yes.
And that's not enough. You can't guarantee that degree of separation. No,
and they're talking about the controller having positive control of it and should have made him turn left and all that sort of thing. But you can remember that control. Yeah, he did hand it over, and also they that's what they've done all day long. That's the procedure. Okay, fly behind, and it's always worked. It's always worked until it hasn't.
Things always work until they don't.
Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad indeed. Look, we've gone over a minute over.
Oh, no.
We should probably end this rantitude that we've had this
week. The stream
is
ruined.
The stream is ruined. We've crossed the beams and all that sort of thing. So we'll say goodbye, dear viewer. And we have a couple of crazy people that want to join us next week. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they do. We are exactly. Oh God, very good. I can't keep up. And we'll so we'll see you again at 2100 Gin and Tonic. Unless Ian, I haven't given Ian his chance. Have you got an hour's worth, Ian?
Final hour?
I don't think there's much to add. The main one's been the MPAS that we've spoken about. There is the Gatwick stuff still ongoing. So there's been quite a bit of fight around that at the minute. It's going to need. There's going to be at least 4 cases, new ones going to the ICO. So it's busy with that. It's all the pushback around SharePoint, which is complete nonsense, because the Home Office are using national security on that, saying that it would be a breach of national security to admit SharePoint was used when it's on their website and when the staff have got it all over LinkedIn. It's to the point of it won't stand up to a judge at tribunal.
Well, somebody might not know.
Not for a moment. It's pure comedy.
You know what we should do? I've been looking at the trends on YouTube. If we want to make the stream really get up and people take attention, we need Ian to have a animals in my backyard segment, just 1 minute at the end of the stream from his CCTV cameras, all the little animals, like the foxes and the hedgehogs. People would flock to the stream.
Oh no, it'll be jungle stuff in his garden.
Yeah, you could
definitely be jungle stuff. Yeah.
No,
Ian's jungle garden.
Surely even better. We just put out blurry potato footage and say the aliens are here.
Oh yeah, but Gary can do hyenas.
Yeah. Well, Brown hyenas, yes, could do brown hyenas. Yep.
There you go.
Yep,
So
yep, yep,
the
yep.
Animal
Don't want
Channel
to meet them.
begins.
The Animal Channel, indeed. Right, we are talking FBV in Thrust We Trust. Very good. Thunderbolt. Very, very good. That's a t-shirt, isn't it? Look after yourselves, everybody. See you again next week. 2100 Gin and Tonic. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful.